Greetings, my friends. Today I'm in the Bavarian Alps near the Austrian border in the nature reserve called Riedboden. I'm here for my project to photograph the 21 highest mountains in Germany, and my plan is to photograph Große Anspitze, which is the 20th on the list. Große Anspitze is part of the mountain group Anspitze, which is part of the mountain ridge Wettenstein. The borderline goes right through the peak, and the other side of the mountain is already in Austria. Opposite Große Anspitze is the Karwendel Massif with peaks reaching over 2,000 meters. These mountains surrounding me are very dangerous, and they are only for very highly skilled mountaineers to climb. This is the reason why I decided not to climb them, but instead to photograph the mountain from the valley, which gives me the opportunity to include the river Isar in my composition. This nature reserve is home to endangered water bird species and a wild growing evergreen forest. The hotels are still closed due to travel restrictions, and that means that I need to get up during the night to get here very early for sunrise. I spent the last 3 days scouting the area. The first day there was a thick layer of cloud covering the mountain, obscuring my view to the peak. The clouds were breaking up on the Austrian side, but we had snowfall throughout the whole day. During scouting the area, I spotted some interesting trees in the forest. Such a natural forest is rare in this area, and the unique trees spurred my creativity. As I was walking on the shore of the river, I noticed these trees standing out on the other side. The crown is completely empty. There are barely any trees. I included in my composition only the trees. And also I underexposed a little bit the composition, because I want to highlight the shape of this silvery trunk and the light brown trunk. And since it's a little bit windy, I want to use 1/50th of a second, and I raised the ISO to 400, and also using f5.6. Because I don't want to be pin sharp, so the whole composition doesn't need to be pin sharp, only my trunks need to be sharp, and they will be the highlight of the picture. I will take 2 pictures and focusing on one of the trees once, and another one focusing on the other trunk. Here we go. What a weather, look at this. On that side, and this side is completely overcast. In this direction the sun is shining. It's still snowing, and the trees are lit by the sunlight. Fantastic. I came a bit further north on the shore of the river to see if those 2 trees look better, because this tree here was in the picture and it might be a little bit distracting. I don't say right now that it is. I'm saying that it might be. So I came a bit further up north, and in my composition right now I have only the 2 trees. There is one trunk, if you can see it on the edge on the left side, which is like shaking hands with the light brown tree, and the tree with the silver trunk is leaning toward the light brown tree. So it's an interesting composition. It's a bit different than what I had earlier. We shall see how it looks like when pictures are uploaded in Lightroom, but this one looks good. On the second day, the peak was visible, but the light was dull and it was not pleasing. I spent the whole day playing around with different compositions. The color and the drift of the river caught my attention. The emerald stream created shapes and figures that were made visible by the magic of a long exposure. The most captivating was this vicious river snake leaping at its prey with its mouth opened. Third time's the charm. Although there were no clouds in the sky as I hoped for, the sunrise gave me pleasant colors. I walked along the river and stumbled upon these rocks, and I decided to include them in the foreground. With a wide-angle lens, the rocks get a little bit elongated due to the change in perspective, and they are pointing directly towards the mountain. And since I am close to the foreground, I need to focus tag the images, and I am focusing on the rocks, then one focus on the middle, and then one on the mountain. Since I don't have clouds or there is no interest in the sky, I include very little part of the sky. To darken the sky, I'm using a medium edge graduated ND filter, and also I want to smooth out the river and get rid of the ripples, and therefore I am using a seed stop ND filter as well. I was worried that the highest peak is disappearing in comparison with the other peak, and it will look smaller than actually it is. As you can see, the two peaks are almost identical, and at some point, if I move a little bit to the right or to the left, the other peak might appear even bigger as the highest one, so the Große Anspitze. Therefore, it's very important how I choose my composition. If I am including both two peaks and also the Anspitze, then the highest peak will be visible as the smallest one. That's the reason why I also opted for the portrait orientation. I'm very happy I managed to photograph Große Anspitze. Stay tuned for the next 19. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also click on the little bell to get notifications for the upcoming videos. See you next time. Bye! Oh. It's so cold. It's so cold. I'm going home. I'm going to drink a tea, a hot tea.